I think the important thing is to say that emergency residential places are a very important issue in the whole debate of the service plan. So in the build-up to Budget 2020 and then in the build-up to the HSE service plan, which, as I said earlier on, there will be a significant increase in the resources over the 2 billion figure. But within that figure then is what you've got to break down, look at. And again, I want to personalise this in one way, because I absolutely agree with Deputy O'Connell that the important thing is to focus on the families and the person with the disability. But in 2020, we plan to have 8,358 residential places. We have 33,700 day respite sessions, 166,000 respite overnights, and 23,000 day places. So they're the kind of plans that are in place. But you go back to the core question. The core question is, every year we have a number of people in those situations. At the moment, I'm pushing very strongly for the extra money and the extra resources. I've been talking to Minister Simon Harris even over the last few days. Simon gets it. He's very supportive of me. So the answer to your question is, do we need more residential places for people in critical need? And that's the phrase I'm using, that have no families. So the answer is yes. And I'm hoping to see some of those new residential places coming into play in the next couple of weeks. Now, that's my view at the moment. But I do accept that when you're having a debate about budgets and service plan, when you go dig down deep, you have to pick out the priorities. And I do accept your point that those elderly parents, or those adults with disabilities whose parents are dead, and its extended family members. And I do respect and say that under the UN Convention, they have a right to a service. And absolutely. So we have to push that, but I'm confident that we will do there will be major improvements in the service plan for 2020. Just going to say that, first of all, say to Senator Rayburn, absolutely, respite is a very important part of our disability plan and our disability programme over the last 12 months, but it's also part of our reform agenda. So just to let you know as well that we've just completed our 12th new respite house. That extra 10 million we got last year, we have 12 new houses up and running throughout the country. And now we're planning for, after Christmas in 2020, we're planning for 33,000 day respite places and 166,000 overnight services. So respite is a very important part of the agenda, and these services are now up and running and will be developed. In relation to St Gabriel's, yes, I will delighted to take up your offer. We're looking at that particular case at the moment, and I'd be delighted to visit St Gabriel's as well and talk to the staff and talk to the families, because that's a very important part of my job. Because if we're developing services, a very important part of developing service in the reform agenda is to make sure that the families and the people who work in the services interests are protected. And then the final thing is in relation to Senator Rose has gone on the transition and the protocols for a transition. As far as to get new teens going, a lot of preparation is done before 18-year-olds move into adult services, and every year we have about 1,600 people coming into adult services when they hit 18. The good news is that we managed to secure an extra 13 million again to develop these services and keep them safe. So every 18-year-old that comes out now is guaranteed an adult day service, and I think that's essential. But there has to be a transition preparation, and most sensible services have that a few months before they move into a new service. And generally, a lot of the staff in the services have key workers and link workers and meetings with the families and parents. But if you have any service that you have any concerns about, don't hesitate to contact me, because we have to ensure, particularly adults with autism, when they transition, that they have to make sure that it's as stable as possible, because it's very, very difficult for them and for the families. But generally, the 1,600 that come out every year get a place and get on with it. And if there are gaps, don't hesitate, let me know.
Thank you very much, Minister McGrath.